Hello and welcome to the Living World of Darkness Changeling the Dreaming 20th Anniversary Edition venue. Today's scene takes place in Manhattan in Charles's lovely, lavish, and well decorated apartment where Maxine has been participating in hospitality, although she now finds that she is incredibly bewildered on what the fuck that means. She's been home most of the day, but very, very quiet, very, very passive, and just sort of staring off into space, occasionally just like wiping tears away, but not initiating a whole lot of conversation at the moment.
Sorry about that. A cat just nearly flipped out my computer. So,
Oh no!
Yep. Well, luckily it survived. So here we're still here. Anyway, getting into that. Charles has recently come home. She's obviously heard the door open up, and he's seems to be moving around the kitchen a little bit, humming a tune of some song. Maybe it's New Kids down from down the block. You're not sure, but regardless, it might sound a little sinister now, all things considering, with what he's done. But otherwise, he seems genuinely, in good cheer. After a while, he pauses for a moment, and there's like a pause in the music before he starts humming again, and he opens up the fridge and something gets pulled out, and there's the uncorking of a wine as he starts pouring some glasses. Putting the sound of cutlery being put down. Maxine.
Yes, Charles.
Would you mind coming out to the dining room table, please?
Of course, Charles. And she'll stand up and walk over there, the space cadet she currently is, and sit down.
In front of her, as she gets there, is a full gallon jug of Chunky Monkey ice cream, and a wine glass and her own personal bottle of wine right next to it.
Mm-hmm.
And Charles has very much the same on his end.
It's a lot of ice cream between the two of them.
Mm-hmm. Both of them have a gallon each and a whole bottle of wine between the two of them. So
Yes.
Just going on.
She'll thank you. She's still like, she seems to be just like staring like a little bit past him and just that sort of far away and kind of haunted look. She looks over to where Carol stood when he shattered, cringes again, just reaches for a glass of. You said you poured the wine, right?
Yeah, you poured the wine. Yeah.
So yeah, she'll sip at the wine. Just I appreciate this. Is this dinner tonight?
Not unless you want it to be. Honestly, I was more doing this because I'm concerned. And comes to my attention that you might not be feeling your best, and you said this is what helps you feel better. So I figured this would be a good start.
Oh, thank you. I'm sure I am going to feel much, much better after this, she says, and just like slides the ice cream in front of her, but doing that sort of like avoiding eye contact thing that she's seemed to have picked up over the past few days.
Mm-hmm. He's just sort of staring at her for a moment. Now, felt a little bit of a draft recently. Soul chilling, so to speak. And I just wanted to check in on you, make sure you're remaining stable on your own 2 feet, so to speak.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize I must have left the window open, I guess.
I didn't realize I hurt you so bad.
I don't know what you're talking about. You've been a very gracious host. Got me ice cream and wine and lovely dinner arrangements and a very comfortable bed. Thank you.
Yes, but you're in such pain, and I'm trying to reach out as your friend, and yet I have the feeling that perhaps I might be the reason.
She looks up and tries to put on a smile, and it looks a little more like a grimace. No, you've done nothing but be the most welcoming hosts. I would hate for you to think that I don't appreciate everything you've done for me.
I'm gonna perception psychology that. So, 1 success.
Okay. Yeah, she's currently not in the mood of, or in the mental state to be hiding much anyways, so
Yeah.
we're just going to go with your successes until she feels better.
Okay.
She's scared. There you go. That's a one word insight into her current state of mind.
Yep, she is very scared.
Yes. Of Charles.
I never realized you were worried about me hiding in your closet or creeping under your bed.
No, I there's no way you'd ever infringe on my privacy.
Of course not. Plus, it's uncomfortable under the bed. Have you tried it?
Contemplated it, but I didn't want to insult you in some way.
No, of course not. What I'm more concerned with is your comfort here, and if you're not feeling comfortable here, then there's clearly something of a failing on my end.
No, like I've said, you've been a very gracious host. I hope that I've been an acceptable guest.
Of course you have. Plus, you're my friend. My biffle, even. Be a shame. No. What wouldn't I do to make sure my friend is comfortable and well taken care of?
And she looks back at where Sir Carol shattered.
Ah. You're worried you might end up like him.
Why would I ever worry about something like that? After all, it's not like the two of you shared any oaths.
Not anymore. And... But perhaps you're wondering... Why?
If you'd like to tell me, I'm always a willing student.
Well, if it will be a right step into putting your mind at ease, I will definitely tell you. See, in my house, Darwan, we are the House of Hospitality, and there are 3 rules when it comes to that. I myself am looking it up just to make sure I get the wording right. He, of course, would just go off the top of my head. It's very simple. Never ask for more than is offered. And I would have to say that you've never asked for more than what I've given you. Bring no harm to your hosts or anyone else under your host's roof. Maybe there was a few jabs against Carol during that exchange, but didn't do any lasting damage. So I'd say no harm was done. But I think the most important one that you're concerned about is rule number 3. Always make a fair offer reciprocity. In other words, fair exchange for the hospitality shown to you. Now, you're my friend. I would say your friendship is worth all the hospitality in the world, so don't worry about it. Does that make you feel better? He says, knowing that she has to lie, but he's going to pee in psychology that.
And she continues to stare at the pile of it and just shudders a little more. Of course, I'm delightful company. I'll never run the risk of offending you. So
2 successes, by the way.
yeah, I mean it's Puka. It's Puka speak, and yeah, she's sitting there going through anything she's ever said in the past couple of days, done in the past couple of days. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Trying to ingrain those rules into her head, so if she hasn't already broken something, she won't in the future. Like, don't ask for seconds, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Now, like I said, don't worry. You haven't broken anything, and I don't think you will. After all, you've been a most gracious guest, and I would do anything to make sure that your stay here is comfortable. But, getting a feeling that's not all.
She kind of scoops a little bit at the chunky monkey. Oh, what else are you picking up?
Sora looks at her. Perhaps if that was the only thing that was concerning you, you probably would have relaxed quite a bit, but that doesn't seem to be the case. And you've been staring at that spot quite a bit. Perhaps when you're ready, you'll let me know and we can work it out. After all, I'm your friend. I'm here to listen. I'm here to help you. Get you strength.
I don't understand why. I mean, you have your reasons, and Don help me. I have no idea why the She do the things they do and put up the rules for themselves that they do. But if it makes you happy, by all means, have your rules. But I don't belong to House Darwan, and I don't belong to any noble.
Of course not.
So why would I do what I did?
Why do you think you did? It's okay if you. I understand what I asked was a question, so just say whatever feels right. But make sure you listen to yourself very carefully when you give that answer.
She ponders for a bit. I wonder if I'm losing Maxine to Alas. And I wonder if that is the case, then what the hell am I?
As I'm very limited on the understanding between these shared souls that you have, I'm afraid I might not be able to give the best insight, but I can at least give you my own insights from what I've seen. You, along with those like yourself, walk a very delicate balance between one side and the other. Some cases, it causes a great deal of confusion of who is really you. Are you really Alas, or are you Maxine? In a way, you're blended. And there's going to be parts that one side or the other you might not like, but it's you. It just depends on how much of one side or the other you wish to go.
She seems to be contemplating this, and sorry, somebody stepped in and is distracting me.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. She contemplates this for a moment. There's never been much conflict between the two. Instead of some sort of schizophrenic discord between Alas and Maxine, they simply were. It wasn't, it never felt as crowded in my head as it has lately.
Perhaps you should elaborate. Get some of those crowded thoughts out in the open. Totally going therapist.
Well, before I began indulging in more contracts and stronger magic, I was simple. I was looking for adventure. I was trying to do the right thing, and right was such a clear picture at the time. And she just like puts her hands to her head. And now it's what is right and what is acceptable, and is there a loophole here? And we're bound with these promises, but what do those words mean? Is it the spirit? Is it the letter? Is it a combination? Because Maxine says, you know, the spirit, but Alas says, but you have to listen to the words. And it's a little unnerving when there's that sort of discord within yourself.
Oftentimes there's people who, normal, stable individuals, who've never had a history of any sort of degree of mental illness, find themselves at war with themselves. There's one thing they believe strongly, and yet everything evidence to the contrary pushes against them, and it causes stress, severe stress. But they have to reconcile somehow. They either have to do one of two things. Well, or three, rather. One, they have to pick one or the other. Either hold on to that ideology, whatever it may be, no matter what it is, and just have that reinforced. Or accept the new reality that is being presented to them and find a way to be able to live with that or gain strength from it. Second thing is to give up on both. Find a new path. Break yourself down and rebuild. Those are a little more dramatic in cases. Or, third option, similar to the second and a little more difficult, but not impossible, is to find a way to accept the both. Even if they contradict each other, even if they are at opposing odds, find the balance in the yin and the yang. What option you want is up to you, but it's not something you can always do on your own.
So, you recommend this yin and yang as this third option. What do you go with, Charles?
I go with who I am. I have, unfortunately, well, maybe not unfortunately, I may say I'm a little blessed in knowing exactly what I am and accepting of what and who I am. It's always been the case. Inexorable. It is my essence, it is my being, it is the very purpose and reason why I even exist. Not a lot of people have that level of certainty, I know.
It seems that sort of certainty in the, you say Charles, but Pararis certainly doesn't have any sort of balance in your soul, though. Not meaning to offend my gracious host, but
what you look at as far as a balance between the human soul and the Fae soul, no, you are quite right and accurate on that. There's only one.
Balance is ideal. I think that may have existed at one point, but the scales have certainly shifted. Think
Certainly have.
oaths and promises, have a way of cementing extremes. I don't know if I'm going to get any better, Charles. And I hope that doesn't offend you, but this might be my new reality. It certainly seems to be what's driving me these days. And she, if you want to, not peony, but psych.
Yeah. That is 3 successes.
Okay. Yeah, she's talking about something she's been up to. Yeah, like, this is how I'm acting. Sinister overture.
Mm.
So, and she, even though she says it and has like the tone of voice is distraught, her face a little less upset than she probably should be as a reasonable person. More curious about it than upset.
I've wondered if you've considered the possibility if this might not be an avenue you're wanting to explore a bit. This new reality. Before you determine exactly where it is. And I also have to wonder whether or not you really want to get better. Or what you think is getting better. These aren't small things that we're discussing here. Because one way or another, it means it's a reshaping of you. One that has to come from within.
Acting on these things makes me ache. And not the ache of headaches or aging or not even a feeling of unease, but that like part of me is starving or withering or running away.
Like innocence lost that you can't quite get back.
It's a very cold chill.
Yes, it is.
It's like I told William, I'm a good girl. But I seem to be forgetting what that means these days.
It's usually very drastic what needs to happen in order to be able to accept our new selves, new rebirth in some respects, in order to accept the past, accept what we are and who we are, and move forward. You can never really get rid of those personal trappings, but you can change them. You can shift them. But that does require a very drastic shift of self. You're a good girl. And maybe you're once, maybe you were truly. Perhaps that's not who you should be anymore. Or, if that is who you feel that you need to be or what you should be, then you need to figure out what that new definition of being good is. And make sure that you understand it, mind, body, and spirit, that is indeed the case. It's not easy. Nothing I've said or what we talked about is easy, Maxine. You're on the edge of a knife. And while I may not be able to get you off it, I can guide you off it. I can guide you in the direction that you need to go. And it will hurt. It will be painful. And there will be scars. But they'll make you strong. They'll make you better. And in one way or the other, when you come out the other side, whatever it is that you ultimately decide that this is the path that needs to happen, you'll be whole.
She kind of scoops the melted ice cream a bit and sips her wine. Do I owe you for the couch time?
You're my friend. That's payment enough for me. After all, my strength is your strength. And if I can help you find your own through mine, even better.
Thank you, Charles. And her phone goes off and she kind of looks at it. She kind of gives an eye roll and sends a message back. Yeah.
I'm going to roll partially on her, whether she's actually genuine, and also that eye roll thing. So let's see how well he does. No successes. So okay. maybe it was the dramatic shift that made it so that he wasn't able to quite get a full read on either case. But either way, he's just kind of just going to sit there and, wait for her.
I do apologize for the draft, though.
I don't blame you for it.
Her phone goes off again, and she looks at it again. Just a heavy sigh.
Now that he's not divided between things, now he's going to roll on that one. Oh, yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4 successes.
Yeah. She sends a response, and she doesn't look at her phone longer than it takes to give a response. That's sort of like taking it out on the phone, the I can't even look at you right now sort of emotion. And she just kind of stabs into her ice cream and shoves it in her mouth and just takes a deep drink. She's obviously very irritated about the text messages she's getting.
Sounds like someone had a spat.
Oh, no. The other person would have to even be vaguely aware of the other person's existence for a spat to happen, she says, and just takes a long drink of wine and scoop of ice cream and just shoves it in her face. And you've seen this kind of behavior before.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I have to roll the perception psychology for that one. It's the exact same one.
Yep.
Ah. William's face dropped again.
What?
William's face dropped again, was what he said.
She's just gonna tilt her head. No, it's still where he left it. Just because I don't know what that means, and neither does Maxine.
He was referring to the mentions he said of seeing his true face before, so that was. Yeah.
It's a metaphor, Maxine.
It's metaphors. Right. That's what adults do, like secret agents. I'm sorry, that's calling to another character.
But yeah, no, we'll stick with the Puka Eats then.
Yeah, she doesn't know. No, his face is still there. Yep. What the fuck are you on about, Charles? Jesus fucking Christ. And they say I can't speak clearly. Fuck.
Yeah. But yeah, she's like, his face is right where he left it. And
I see.
Am I just so insignificant? She starts and then stops. She puts her hands up like, nope, no. And just back to the ice cream. As the phone goes off again, she looks at it and she throws it down.
Yep. Maxine.
Yes, friend.
Please continue with what you were going to say.
And she takes a sip of her wine, downs the rest of the glass, sets it down. I don't. What is it about me that just fails to shine when anyone else is in the room? I really thought he liked me. Or at least liked me enough not to screw somebody right in front of me. It doesn't seem like an unreasonable request. I mean, granted, I didn't ask it directly, but I mean, yes, I know on the more ephemeral side of our personalities, if you don't ask, it doesn't exist as a question. But I mean, there's a certain depth to our shared situation that I thought it was just kind of generally presumed that you don't. She just shoves ice cream in her mouth. You don't.
Charles doesn't move. He's very, he's like still as a fucking statue. No emotion going on the front in his mind. Jackpot. Yes. He was, his instincts about this chunky monkey and the Williams situation was on fucking point. Anyway. So, but still he puts on that, he still has that concern. He hurt you really badly.
She just nods. wipes away tears forming at the corners of her eyes and tries to blink them away.
I don't like seeing you in this kind of pain, Maxine. This kind of situation. But yet it is what it is. I've already been talking about imbalances, wars within yourself, but now I think we still need to talk further, as perhaps Chunky Monkey and Wine is making it becoming impromptu couch time.
What do you think I should do?
Well, first, to address your first question of what it is that no one else sees. People often see what they want to see. They're usually very too scared to get a chance to take a look deeper. Much more interested in what they perceive rather than what something is. Whatever it is that perhaps he thought he saw, what he thinks isn't real, isn't the real you. And perhaps it's the fact that he hasn't seen the real, or at least he thinks he has, but doesn't quite understand it. It's what it is. You, Maxine, are unique. One of a kind. And I know this is going to sound like motivational poster crap. But there will never be another Maxine. There will never be another Biffle like you. There will never, ever, ever be someone who shines like you. I'm afraid that some people just don't know how to appreciate it. And unfortunately, that hurts. When you find that what you feel is wondrous and great about you and want to share with others, it hurts very deeply when they cast you aside. He seems almost a little too like that was very personal, him getting up there, saying those words. Well, it may not be the same as the heartbreak Maxine is going through, but his mind is definitely back to that moment where it became clear they were so close. They were so close to becoming something more than themselves, and then they cut their own legs and tried to destroy him. Only using the tools and the gifts he had given them to further their own barbaric ends and take him down with them. Such a violation of everything he was. To be betrayed by house, to be betrayed by ideals, to be betrayed in words. He knows very well that pain when others don't see you for who you are, or what you are, or everything to the core of your essence. He knows exactly what it is to be considered non-viable.
I'm gonna go ahead and roll Maxine's perception empathy to see if she's reading anything from him. Even if he's blank Charles.
I think at that moment he's probably slipping, so we'll go on your successes. So he's starting his own bleed over with what he's saying. But we'll see how much she gets out of that.
One success.
One success. What the Morse I'll get you is that he is clearly empathizing, which is odd. And it actually is connecting. Like he does actually understand the pain.
Yeah, she's just gonna stop eating that ice cream and just kind of stare at him a bit. Just not in that pity me stare. The what's going on over there?
Yeah. Is he going to shatter me now?
Not a fear stare. Just she's
just what is happening?
Yeah.
Did he actually try to connect? Oh God, that's scarier than anything I've ever experienced before. I'm sorry that they can't see you for the singular, unique thing that you are. And while I'll admit I'll never fully see that myself either, at the very least, I appreciate it.
And I appreciate you too. At the very least, you'll never fuck someone in front of me.
I will say that is a very drastic thing. But at the very least, you're right on that one.
Hey, be grateful for what you've got, right?
So, at the risk of going full therapist on you, I am curious on how this all makes you feel.
Top notch, he says, and just she's obviously not great.
Yep. No, he knows.
Yeah, she looks at her empty wine glass and just.
Well, she has the bottle. She has the bottle. She has he gave her a separate bottle of her own.
Okay.
So
great. So she's gonna pour herself another glass of wine.
I'm surprised she doesn't just start drinking out of the bottle at this point.
In Charles's apartment? Nope.
No. After what I saw happened, fuck that.
She's gonna start eating her chips and salsa with forks after that. What do you use? A cocktail fork? A salad fork? I don't know. Chips are a salad, right? But no, she'll pour herself another glass of wine and just sip at it. And I don't know. I don't even know how to describe that feeling, to give you the words. to even begin to understand that feeling.
How about
But
you try?
I like Tim a lot. And I assumed he liked me. He was certainly. He kissed me like he liked me. She just.
And you bound yourselves very deeply as well.
I don't know what you're talking about, Charles.
I know you don't, but I just have to keep my professional mind open. Please continue.
She just shakes her head to her and I've always known he's not a singular minded individual, but I suppose I took for granted that he would respect me enough not to be so blatant about it in front of me.
So it's not the fact that he perhaps was sleeping with other people that wouldn't have bothered you all that much.
It's like I wasn't even in the room to him.
I see.
It's like I don't exist unless there's no one else around. It was better when he yelled at me.
I wonder what your next step is now that this has happened. Do you eat to the bottom of that chunky monkey? Drown that wine bottle? Perhaps go for seconds? I have plenty in the fridge. You're welcome to it. If that's what you want.
No. Rostabar. No. And she says as she picks up her phone and flips it back over. I may go for a walk.
That might not be a bad idea. You want company, or would you prefer to go on your own?
It's up to you.
No.
There may be someone I need to have a talk with, but I don't think I have anything left to say to him that I can't say in front of you.
Ah, I see. Well, it is up to you, actually, Maxine. Because, as you said, if there are other people in the room, no one else seems to matter. So, if I'm there, do you think he'll take you seriously? Or if it's just you, do you think he'll take you more seriously than ever before when you tell him exactly how you feel?
Well, if he listens to me, it'll be a first.
Perhaps that's something to consider as well. I think I will let you do what you need to do. But know this, and know this very clearly. You're my Biffle. And I don't take what happens to you very lightly.
Thank you, Charles.
You go hop along now and say what you need to say. I'll be here waiting. And if you need me to come pick you up, I will be there.
I appreciate that. I might actually take you up on that offer.
Very good. Now, while you've got courage, while you've got strength, give him hell.
That's me. Quite the Hellraiser.
Mhm.
She'll help put away like the stuff real quick before she heads out because she's still just weary on being a bad guest.
Mhm.
But that's where we'll end this scene. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching, and we'll see you next time.